Yeah, she was a little bit busy with visa and stuff.
My microphone is there. How are you doing?
My goodness.
Hello. Let's see.
Somebody else is joining.
Hello, hello. Oh, good to see everyone. Good morning. Let's see, we're going to send people out today.
Okay.
So, you want to
Either way.
even sit here facing Canon? What do you think?
Yes, please.
Yeah, here. Okay. So this is you.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to be facing Canon, and she's going to be facing.
Perfect.
Okay. Good to see everyone. We have a couple of folks who have what I think is the flu. It's nice to say, finally, I think it's only the flu. Our town here is Scuba. I'm here. We've had 0 or 1 COVID case in the whole prefecture, like our whole state, for many, many days. And our town has had, Scuba itself, the town has had 0 or 1 case for about a month and a half now. So we're very fortunate. Not everyone is so fortunate right now. Dogan, you made it from Turkey. Nice to see you. Don't be offended that we're having our Thanksgiving and our we do a little dance later, and it's called the turkey dance. It has nothing to do with turkey. My apologies. You understand that. It's about the bird. Let's see. Kaishin, lovely to see you. Jan, very good. Shade, Hokan, Dick, excellent. Doshin, very good you can make it. Cynthia is here. We have some people coming later. Okay, enough talking. Let's just do a quiet ZAZENKAI today, and let me light the candle. I'll be right back. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Put the heater if it gets too warm or anything.
Oh yeah, it should be fine. It's not fixing me, so.
It gets quite warm. Sure. Well, lovely. It's already November. Dokugan, I don't know about the time in Turkey, but something tells me it's a very strange hour there. So I think you've gotten up 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, well, you're young. You can do that. But, you know, it's okay to sit with the recording later. We forget about time and we forget about distance, you know. So you can sit later with us if you need, but it's very nice. Don't do what the body needs to sleep sometimes, remember. Okay, everyone. I guess that's it. Have you been here before? You know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. Who's the Ino today? Oh, Sekishi, as always. Lovely. Lovely to see you there. Okay, shall we go? Okay. Oh, someday I have a sound. Would you give me a sound test, Sekishi? Oh, that works.
赤般若波羅蜜多心経漢字在空殺行人般若波羅蜜多自性見語音階苦労一切苦役者利知識不為苦苦不為識識即税苦苦即税識重創業識役部尿税者利死税商法苦相不傷不滅不苦不浄不増不減税国苦除無識無中小業識無限に未成真に無識証拠未速法無限界内死無意識界無無明薬無無明人内死無老死薬無老死人無苦終滅道無知悪無得意無所得果菩提サータエ般若波羅蜜多果心無下下無下下果無苦苦音利一切天道無所故業安三世小仏へ般若波羅蜜多孤独はくたら三役三菩提高知般若波羅蜜多税大人衆税大名衆税無衆衆税無等道衆の上位細工真実不公公説般若波羅蜜多収束説小圧行定定腹行定腹そう行定無事そうあか般若心経The identity of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed west and east, while human faculties are both wise or dull. In the way there are no northern or southern ancestors. The subtle source shines clear in the light. The branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things is primordial illusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every sense and field, intermingle even as they shine alone, interacting even as they merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sights differ primarily in shape and character, and harsh sounds in harsh or soothing tones. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their true nature as a child turns to its mother. Fire is hot, water is wet, wind moves and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the sweet and sour, each independent of the other, like leaves that come from the same root. Though leaves and root must go back to the source, both root and leaves have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own being, which is not different from its place and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box in its lid. The absolute meets the relative like two arrow points that touch in midair. Hearing this, simply perceive what is, make no criterion. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, you draw no nearer, progress no further. One who fails to see this truth is mountains and rivers away. Listen, those who would perceive this subtle matter. Live well your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the heart of the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Heihei Dogen Honored One, Soji Keizan Honored One, all successive honored ones up until Zuigaku Renpo Honored One, and Gudo Wafu Honored One, and to all other honored ones throughout history, same yet diverse honored ones, whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Zazen? It's tricky.
Yes.
Also, I know it's tricky too. You're not supposed to put your socks on because they get dirty.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay.
So, try to sit.
Yes.
You can step back. Yes. Good luck. Inhale. Sangun UBK. Very good. Begin with okay. Ready? Kyaku koko. Other way. Yeah. Just go with the traffic rules. You okay?
Yes.
Should I look up the even step? Even cooking. My page, she's in there. Oh. She said, make your posture a little more, stand straight and breathe from here. At my pace, but down here, okay? We don't need the heater. No. Good. No more heater. Zazen. will have a long kinhin. Now is the kinhin. You can walk kinhin. You can take a little rest. You can use the restroom. You can practice your yoga. Just don't check Facebook. Okay, try not to. Okay. Okay. 今休憩でも、インターネットダメだ。
English atau semua itu tidak ada itu deh. Praying mantis. Praying mantis.
Okay. We will have a talk, then some zazen. Come on in. Let me see. Secretary, we're going to have the verse to open the sutras. Okay. Chris, why don't you and your wife sit over there?
Okay.
Very good. 1 second, my mask is off. Okay. Wait, my mask is all over the place here. All right, there we go.
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Thank you, thank you. Chris, would you hand me my tea, which is behind the bell? I kind of got it hidden back there. And everyone, when we have these talks, you can sit zazen, you can just sit and listen, you can stand on your head. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. You can do anything except check Facebook, as I say. So please relax. And also, I should have remembered to bring the tea from the house, but I'll do that. You want something to drink? You can get it? Okay, okay. I'll try to very good, very good. Thanks, Chris. Well, we are continuing our talk series on Vimalakirti, which is one of the most cherished Mahayana sutras in Zen, but also widely because of its hero is a layperson who somehow bests the best of all the Buddhist bodhisattvas and the old Indian Buddhist great teachers, and Vimalakirti's got it all. And the section we're going to look at today is when he takes on some of the great bodhisattvas. But when we look at this, we're going to see that the roots of actually our Soto practice and Master Dogen's philosophy is here too. You'll see that what we do when we sit Shikantaza is nothing new. It has roots that go way, way back in Mahayana Buddhism. To the beginning, the philosophy of there's nothing to gain, nothing to attain is not new. We're going to see that here. But at the same time, it was Master Dogen's philosophy in sitting there. There's two sides to look at this, two sides which are actually, I say two sides of a no-sided coin. They're not two separate things. They're just two faces that is this one original face. The first original face is there's nothing to attain. So there's nothing to attain. There's no judgments of good and bad. There's nothing, no enlightenment to achieve because there's no separate person to achieve something outside, right? This world that we face that's divided into pieces of where there's me and you and this thing we want to attain, we can reverse that and just see that there's such a wholeness that there's no one to attain. There's nothing to be attained. There's no judgment of this is good, this is bad, because there are no separate things to say this thing is good and I feel sit over here separate that this thing that's not me is good and this other thing is bad. But at the same time, that's only one face of Master Dogen's philosophy and Mahayana. Because the other side says, okay, that's true, but now you should try to be good in this life. So then, 道元禅師の考えはね、こういう昔々のお経に、同じ教えが入っている。人生2つの立場。1つはね、私たち分けていない、感。例えば私とあなた別々。これは別々、これいいこと悪いこと、これを全部捨てる。それ一つ。もう一つは、それでも人生にいい道、いいことをやってください。いい道を歩いてください。両方同時に味わうと、それは、悟り。大体わかります。はい。Okay. So, let's get into this. Now, the first one is Vimalakirti takes on the great Maitreya. Now, Maitreya is going to be the Buddha to be in the future. He's just in waiting. And again, the Buddha says, hey, Maitreya, Vimalakirti, you remember Vimalakirti's pretending to be sick, so all the grandchildren come to visit. You remember that from last time. So Buddha says, Maitreya, why don't you go visit him? And Maitreya also goes, no, man, I can't handle it. I can't deal with that guy. He just, and the Buddha says, why? And he says, world honored one, I am not competent to visit him and inquire about his illness. Why? Because I recall how once in the past, I was preaching to the king of the Tushta heaven and his followers on the practices required to attain the state of non-regression. So Maitreya supposedly is waiting up there in this place called Tushta heaven. Remember, this is Mahayana. This is like Star Wars or what is it, Lord of the Rings. You know, it's a real fictional, wonderful place. Okay, so Maitreya is up there in the Tushta heaven, and he's supposed to be a once returner, which means that he's only got one more life, and then he's waiting, and he's going to be a Buddha. Okay, so he's telling the king up there, King Tushta, that how to do this. And at that time, Vimalakirti approached. I don't know, Vimalakirti just happened to be walking through Tushta heaven, I guess. I don't know. And said to him, Maitreya, the world honored one prophesies that with one more birth, you will be able to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, perfect supreme enlightenment. Just one more life. You're, how to say, you're in the finals. It's like the Olympics, man. Okay, you've gotten through the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Now you're down to the finals. Okay, one more life, and you're going to have Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, which means you'll be a Buddha. Now, just what birth does this prophecy apply to? Maitreya is saying, you're supposed to have one more birth, but what does that mean? Your past birth, your future birth, your present birth? If it applies to past birth, that past birth has already passed into extinction. If it applies to a future birth, that future birth has yet to arrive. And if it applies to a present birth, this present birth lacks permanence. For as the Buddha said, monks, one moment you are born, the next you will grow old, and the next you pass into extinction. We're already seeing that, some of us who are a little skeptical about the literal rebirth, the skepticism about literal rebirth, about you actually, your heart stops and then you go, and we don't believe in a soul, but you go and then you find some other, you're up there and you say, oh, wait a second, there's an open womb down there, not an open room, an open room, it's not a motel, an open womb, and you fly in there and you're reborn again. You know, some of us say, well, we're not sure about that. The roots are here because he's basically kind of saying already, this whole thing about rebirth. What do you mean about rebirth? We're constantly reborn, constantly reborn. And yet he also says, and also we're constantly not born because we believe that there's something beyond coming and going. On the ocean, the waves rise up. On the ocean, the waves go down. But the ocean is always there, So we believe that beyond the coming and going, umari to shinu o koiru to nanika umarenai shinunai nanika nanika. Okay. So you see the roots of this kind of doubt or challenge is already there. Or does the prophecy apply to some state of birthlessness? But birthlessness is none other than the state of correct realization. And the stage of correct realization can have nothing to do with prophecies of enlightenment or with the attainment of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So how, Maitreya, can you give this prophecy about one birth? I would kind of summarize this. If we're constantly reborn, and constantly dying, and always reborn in the past, and always dying in the past and in the future. Which birth are you talking about? But yet, at the same time, there's something beyond all birth and death. So what do you mean you only have one more birth? And when you realize that, that is supreme enlightenment. You see, like that. Like that. Last paragraph there. Were you given this prophecy because of some birth that pertains to suchness, the big wholeness, whatever? Or were you given this prophecy because of some extinction that pertains to suchness? If you were given this prophecy because of some birth that pertains to suchness, you should know that in suchness there is no birth. And if you were given this prophecy because of some extinction that pertains to suchness, you should know that in suchness there is no extinction. Okay, so then he bests him on this view of enlightenment, that is this wholeness so whole that nothing is born, nothing dies, because there's just this wholeness like that. Okay, so we got the view of the big. I'm just waving my hands in the air because like Zen guys sometimes draw a big circle in the air. I'm just waving my hands aimlessly in the air for the same reason, just go the big, whatever. This,ね。この全部一になると死ぬ人と死ねられることはない。だから、それは悟り。Okay. Okay. All right. So we got that again, that picture of wholeness. And you also within that wholeness, of course, there's no one to do bad or be done bad to. We say you can't have murder in the wholeness because the killer and the person killed, there's no two. So you can't have even that, right? So korosito to korosorareru hito wa nai kara korosu koto dekinai in this wholeness. Okay, ichi ni naru. But yet, okay, now we had that, but yet the rest of this is going to say, oh, but yet down here on the world, there are people who can get hurt, and there are people who can do bad, and there are bad things you can do. So don't do them. You see, some people just think if you get up here to this place where you can't do bad, that means down here you can do anything you want. That's not the point. That was not Master Dogen's point. So, okay, next we go on to another bodhisattva called Shining Adornment. And Shining Adornment also doesn't want to go visit Vimalakirti. He says, world honored one, I'm not competent to visit him and inquire about his illness. Why? Because I remember once in the past when I was leaving the great city of Vaishali, Vimalakirti was just entering the city. Vimalakirti is always there, just always shows up, right? And I accordingly bowed to him and said, layman, where are you coming from? And he replied, I am coming from the place of practice. And I asked him, where is that place of practice? And he replied, an upright mind is the place of practice, for it is without sham or falsehood. The resolve to act is the place of practice, for it can judge matters properly. A deeply searching mind is the place of practice, for it multiplies benefits. The mind that aspires to Bodhi is the place of practice, for it is without error or misconception. Now, again, I'm going to say, you remember these holy books, they tend to write big, okay? They tend to say things big, and they tend to depict things perfectly. いつもね、お経はね、話が大きい。書き方、説明の方はちょっと綺麗すぎる。ね。けど意味は普通に簡単。You know, the meaning is usually could be more simply felt or expressed. And also remember, even though they present things very idealized fashion, of course, when the human being is reading this, know that this is kind of an idealized image, so we should aim in that direction. But of course, we're not anywhere near as perfect as the people in the story because they're in the story, you know, and I'm not in a story. So it's hard for me to be as perfect as these people. But this is the image of what we should try to be in that direction as much as possible. You know, I don't know if you can ever be as perfect as Vimalakirti, man, because he's just, you know, he just gets everything right here. So what are they saying? They're basically saying the place of your practice is when your heart is straight. When your heart is in the right place and wise. And when your actions are wise and good. That is the place of practice like that. And when you're constantly inquisitive and trying to learn and encounter new situations, but do the right thing, that's the place of practice. You see, that's your place of practice. So you're going to ask, where is Vimalakirti? And I'm going to say, he's going to show up where you are. When your heart, your words, your thoughts, try to do right. That's what he's talking about here. You try to see what is true and not false. You try to act properly. Okay? When your mind is in the right, wise place, this is your place of practice. You see. So, for example, he gives some examples now. He says, almsgiving is the place of practice because it hopes for no reward. He says, when you give, but you give without your thought of what you're getting out of it. What's the profit for me? But you give. That's a good place here. That's your place of practice. 人に寄付するときに、私の利益なんですかと考えないときね。それがグッド。それは、私たちの、練習場。本当の人生の練習場。ね、心がきれいときに、活動がきれいときに、それは人生の中の練習場。大体わかる。Observance of the precepts is the place of practice because it brings fulfillment of vows. Forbearance is the place of practice because it enables one to view all living beings with a mind free of obstruction. When you're tempted, you know, to do something you desire with excess and you kind of hold back and find moderation, that's a place of practice, right? There's that chocolate cake. I want it. I'm on my diet. That's all I think about is chocolate cake. Chocolate cake. Oh, wait a second. I will forbear. That's my place of practice. When you could get angry, but you don't. Because that's what we do, Buddhists. We try to avoid anger. That's in the precepts. That's your place of practice. 怒れる時があるの時に、怒れない。平和にします。あれは人生の中の練習場。ね。あれは食べたい時に、断ります。今、断ります。あれは人生の中の練習場。ね。
質問いいですか？質問いいですか？
いや。
その怒りを力に変えるってよくあることだと思うんですけど、それも全部はダメなんですかね。
もう一回。
この怒る力、悔しい、
はい、
戦ってやるっていうのを力にすることはダメなんですかね。
力？
それを負けてたまるかとか。
私は分からないかもしれないけど、その時に、しない方、何度も方法でもしない方がいい。ね、リラックス。ね、呼吸に見て、何度も方法でも、ね、何も悪いことしないでも、それは人生の中の練習。大体答えは後で話します。はい。Okay. Sorry. He asked, what do you do when you get angry? How do you, I think he asked that. My understanding was a little off. But, and I said, whatever you do, if you can avoid to get angry, that is our practice in life. That's our practice place in life. Assiduousness is the place of practice because it forestalls laziness and regression. Any place in life that you can be lazy, I'll do that tomorrow, that thing, but you do it, okay? We Buddhists, we like to do things that I'm a procrastinator. The world's worst. I would only come to this Zen thing on time because you guys are here. Otherwise, I'd say, I'll come when I want, I'm a world's worst procrastinator. But whenever I avoid that, that is my practice place in life. And you see, and that's yours too. Meditation, Zazen, is your practice place because it makes the mind tame and gentle. Wisdom is the place of practice because it sees all things as they are. Whenever in life you have a chance to bring Zen wisdom to it, For example, we've been talking in the book club of sometimes when I was sick and I'm in bed, I'm miserable, but I could find, the wholeness, the peace, and find some wisdom. That was my practice place, you see, in the bed. Pity is the place of practice, for it views all things equally. Compassion is the place of practice, for it bears up under weariness and pain. Joy is the place of practice, for it revels in Dharma delight. Indifference, I think that's probably more equanimity, is the place of practice. So when something bad happens and you can find some peace, even some joy, even some acceptance, that's your place of practice. Not just here or in Tush to heaven, wherever Tush to heaven is. I always laugh when I hear Tush to heaven because it sounds like that Jewish word, Yiddish Tush. I always feel, I don't know, a heaven of tushes. I don't know what that is, a tush to heaven. Anyway, that's another thing. I don't know. But it's not in tush to heaven. Tush to heaven is right where you are when you find a little peace. Causes and conditions are the place of practice. For none of the links of the chain of causation, from ignorance to old age and death, has ever come to an end. Earthly desires are the place of practice. For through them we know the nature of suchness. This is the thing again that Vimalakirti was very famous for. Desires and being in this world of causes and conditions, this complex world of feelings and things coming and going, and just being in this world of desires, not to escape it. When in this world of complexity and the big mess and desire, we can find the wisdom. This is our place of practice. Through them, we know there is no ego. When you can drop the self in this world of things in the self, this is your place of practice. All phenomena are the place of practice. For through them, we know the emptiness of all phenomena. So not to go to emptiness, but to know this world of phenomena, whatever's happening and whoever and whatever is empty. In this world of stuff, that's your place of practice. だから、そういう無の世界とこの複雑、時々難しい世界が同じところと心が分かるときに、それは人生の中の練習場。Okay, now the next story is kind of the same thing. The next story is a kind of strange one. So Mara comes. Mara is the Buddhist devil who's always showing up to cause trouble. I told you this is like Star Wars. You need a bad guy. This is Darth Vader. Okay, you need a bad guy to show up. Okay, so Mara shows up. He's always causing trouble. Or what's the guy with the ring? My precious, this is the ring. There's got to be some temptation, some bad guy. So Mara's the guy with the ring who turns, Frodor bad because he wants the ring. It's excess desire is what that ring is giving him, right? I want my precious, my ring, right? Okay, same thing here. So Mara shows up and offers this bodhisattva 2,000, how many is it? 12,000. Oh, 12,000 heavenly maidens, they can be yours. And the bodhisattva goes, no, man, I can't. I got that whole celibacy thing. I can't do that. But, Vimalakirti shows up and he goes, yeah, I'm a layman. I'll take him. No, wait. Okay. So Mara says, okay, layman, here you go. Here's your 12,000 heavenly maidens, you know, to do with what you wish. And then Vimalakirti says, but you know, it's not about like sex like that. I'm going to show them like some other ways to live well and to take pleasure in life. That's what this story is here. Now, a couple of things here. This doesn't say, notice, all sex is bad, because he's a layperson. Okay? This is not a lesson that all sex is bad. He never says that. Also here, I checked this. We're going to get to this later. We were discussing recently vegetarianism and how Buddhism is traditionally not vegetarian. It was in China. I looked through this sutra, which is a big Mahayana sutra. There's nothing in there about don't eat meat. There's no mention of it. I couldn't find any. Okay? There are other sutras that got into this don't eat meat, but again, here in this time, it was moderation or it's not a big issue. What's an issue is desire, excess desire, excess desire. Same here with sex. It's not saying don't have sex. It's saying, you know, the excess desire is bad. So here, Vimalakirti said, not saying I don't have sex. I'm a layperson. I have a family. He's saying, I'm not here for the 12,500 maidens. I want to show them that there are other delights in life. And that's what we're going to list here. And you're going to see it's more good things that you need to bring into your life. Just one more example here before we move on, I forget. There's also a little bit of women's rights coming in here, which is pretty good. This was written about the 1st century AD, okay? So women really didn't have many rights. So you notice it's the men here giving the women away, and then later, Mara says, do you want to give them back? And the layman says, I'll give them back to you. And the women say, hey, wait a second, we don't want to go back. Now, this was a big thing for women's rights 2,000 years ago, for the women to say, hey, wait a second, you're not asking me if I want to go back. Okay? And Vimalakirti actually persuades them to go back. But there's a feeling there that it's kind of their choice, which I think is a big thing ahead of their time. But anyway, so anyway, the Vimalakirti said basically, Vimalakirti, I'm going to go down third paragraph. Vimalakirti taught them these other delights called Dharma delights. Hi, you can go in. Hi. To delight in constant faith in the Buddha, to the delight in hearing the Buddha's teachings, the law, to delight in giving alms to the assembly, to be donating mostly to the monks, to delight in casting off the 5 desires, to delight in viewing the 5 components as vengeful bandits. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's not a good thing. Okay, the vengeful bandits. I should have looked into that a little more closely. But you can imagine this is all about excess desire and how the senses make us crave things. When you get past that, that's the delight. To delight in viewing the 4 great elements as poisonous snakes. To delight in viewing the mind and the senses as an empty village. It goes on and on and on. Boy, I really printed everything here. To delight in pursuing and guarding the desire for the way. Desire to delight in, let me just list them. Benefiting living beings, honoring and supporting teachers. I like that one. Please, pay attention to that one. Please. To practice widespread generosity. To observe the precepts. To be patient, humble, gentle, harmonious, to amass good roots, to do good things, to delight in zazen, in meditation, to keep a bright wisdom, to have a mind that aspires to, it goes on like this, all these good things. Maybe I'll just get to delight in cutting off earthly desires, to delight in purifying the Buddha lands, to delight in gaining merits, that's more doing more good things, to delight in listening fearlessly to profound teachings, to delight in 3 gates to emancipation. Okay, you can read that all on your own time. I've listed all that. Let me make it really simple, okay? When you find delight in doing good things and avoiding excess and avoiding bad actions, that's the delight. That's the Dharma delight, man. That's our joy. Huh? 仏教の楽しみは、いいことするときにの楽しみです。ね。怒られるときがあるんですけど、怒れないときの楽しみ。それは仏教の楽しみ。Okay? So that's what it's getting at. You can read the whole list there. But he teaches this group that the real joys in life are when we do all this good stuff, being charitable, avoiding excess desire. Not all desire, again, excess desire. Avoiding falling into all the traps of life to be too greedy, too angry, like that. Okay? And this is true at the same time that we also know this realm where there's nothing to be angry about, nobody to be angry at. That's true too. It's all true. Okay. Somehow in this world of complexity and ugliness, when you can find the peace and the beauty in your heart, that's the delight. That's the place of practice. この複雑の世界の中に、問題いっぱいの世界の中に、辛いことの世界の中に、難しい人でいっぱい世界の中に、心の平和、起こらないこと、いいこと見つかるときに、それは本当の人生の中の練習上、本当の仏教の楽しみ。その意味です。Okay? So, okay. The last section I just put in here was just one more bodhisattva that didn't know what to do with Vimalakirti, but it was kind of nice because it emphasizes giving to the poor. And I think that's important in this day and age, too. Remember, Vimalakirti, a lot of the people reading these sutras, they were educated people and they had, some wealthy people who were students of Buddhism back then. And we're relatively wealthy, anyone in the West. We're relatively wealthy. So this is a section that you find in all religions, which says, hey, mister, it's that time of year, not just that time of year, any day. Don't forget the poor. It doesn't say, notice it doesn't say give all the money to the poor, but it says give a lot. In this case, I believe he's talking about 50%, okay? Which seems about right to me, maybe. I don't think this is tax policy advice, but I think if we had about a 50% tax rate with the very rich paying a lot more and the persons who can't afford it paying less, and it balances out about 50%. This is actually 2,000-year-old tax advice, okay, on how we should set our tax policy. That's my personal feeling. I don't get usually political here at all, but this is my feeling. 50%, someone who has billions of dollars maybe pays a little more. Anyway, then Vimalakirti took the pearls, someone donated some pearls, and divided them into 2 halves. He gave half of them to the lowliest poor of the city, who had been disdained by those present at the sacrifice. They were not the people we let in here. You know that. They were disdained by the people who came. The other half here offered to the Tathagata, the Buddha, and he performed a miracle such that all present beheld the universe. Okay, again, we're back in Star Wars here. He performed a miracle, and this pearl necklace appeared, which was all decorated with pearls. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Okay? But then, having shown such a miracle, Vimalakirti said, if a donor of alms bestows gifts on the lowliest beggars with equality of mind, dispensing them with impartiality, as in the same way that the Buddha gives away his blessings, if one exercises great compassion in equal measure, the other translation I think said 50%. So, but in equal measure, without seeking reward, this may be called perfectly performed Dharma bestowal. So real charity in Buddhism is not just to give to the monks, not just to keep it yourself. Don't forget the poor. That's true in not just Buddhist religion, many religions, all religions, I think, say that. Don't forget the poor. Okay? So, 貧乏な人は知らないで、寄付、何かお金あれば、自分の部分のいいんだけど、貧乏な人。Okay. Any questions? This is the part where it gets hard. I don't know if you don't have any questions because I've answered everything so completely, or I've just left you speechless and stunned. Which one is it? Number 2. Yes, Max. Good, thank you.
Oh, and I'm not sure. It just came up because you had mentioned this earlier about rebirth. I just recently found out one of my good friends from grad school passed away very unexpectedly. And I was just thinking about things like metta and things like that. And I just kind of wanted to know, like, in your opinion, is there anything I can do for her really? Or is it more just, you know, what I can do for the people who are still here?
Well, I'm sure that person would want you to worry about the people who are still here first, of course. I mean, if I died, and I would think, please take care of my family. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Like that. Okay. And we say funerals are for the living, you know. We do. But we also traditionally say that when we do good, it has effects. And I don't know how you feel about, literal rebirth, but we wish the person what we do here helps them in the next world, then we do it. And if it doesn't help them in the next world, no harm, So we chant, we light some incense, because if it helps them in the next world, get a good birth, that's the traditional belief, good, And if it doesn't, then we lost one stick of incense, there's no harm in it. But as I always say about metta, or when we chant the Heart Sutra, there's a couple of reasons for this. For example, metta, we're going to chant it later today. We wish peace even on difficult people on the other side of the world. Now, does that mean that there's kind of some magic woo-woo here? Maybe, I don't know. I'm an open-minded skeptic. I say, maybe, I don't know. The moon may be made of green cheese, they say, Maybe UFOs are from outer space. I don't know. But I kind of skeptical. I kind of doubt it. But I'm going to tell you this. In this world of bad things, if I say right now, Max, go to hell. You went, what? My anger traveled across the other side of this world, at least through the internet here, and actually touched you. And I could feel your heart turn a little dark. Okay? So you see, there is power in my words. So if I wish a good thing, at least it affects my family, my town, on the internet. If I put a nice posting on Facebook instead of a nasty posting, it really spreads around the world. So our words and our actions do have effect. We make this world a little uglier or a little more beautiful. So wishing metta for your friend does something, it's like casting a stone in the water. It has some effect, at least around you, and maybe it will touch their family, which is what the person would have wanted. So when I go to the family and I say, sorry for your loss, and you know we're here and we love you, doesn't that have an effect? Of course it does. It's a real power, you see. Okay? And when we chant the Heart Sutra, it reminds us of emptiness, this great wholeness. And that's the lesson too, that your friend died, but there's something beyond death too. So that's, we chant the Heart Sutra. So yes, it may help him in the next world, but even if it doesn't, we can help the people in this world and we can help our own heart. And that is the place of practice, isn't it? That is the Dharma delight. Like that. Okay? Sorry about your friend. We'll dedicate our Zazen today to your friend and all who loved him. Okay? James. And I know too, we're dedicating today. You have some people in your heart. We're dedicating to them too.
Yes, my sister has decided to let go. She's dying, and she's decided to cease treatment and she'll probably be gone within a week. So I'm trying to, transmit merit, be good to them, give them stuff. But then there's a point where you got to give them some space too. But to go through, to feel, to go through the experience themselves. And just for me, it's just idea of transmitting merit. And that idea, I don't know, I just think things are so connected that it's beyond my limited understanding of my frontal cortex of my brain, but I know everything is connected. And if I can connect and be present for them in whatever form that takes, that can be good. I'm just, that's what I've learned. I've worked with people who go through intense loss and so, not loss, but suffering, anguish. And I've just been told by teacher to just be present. And I don't know if that has an effect in it.
Oh yes, of course.
I think it does. I don't know. I've known that somehow I could tell you some stories and stuff about how people can feel the connection.
Of course.
And that's what the Buddha teaches, that everything's connected, everything is changing, and just pay attention. Those are the things I'm both, and
and it's wonderful too. Your family, your sister, I know she's still conscious. You told me she knows you're there, and she feels in your heart and your words. And I told you my mentor is in hospice now, and I wrote something to him, and his wife wrote me back and said, I read it to him and he smiled. That's all I needed to know. And I started crying because he touched me, I touched him. Your sister knows what a day and age we live in, even though you're on the other side of the world. 100 years ago, unless you had a horse and you were even 100 miles away, you could not get there in time. You did not know even your loved one was sick until a letter arrived weeks later sometimes, but you can be present now. And she knows, and your family knows that you're there, James. So, and it's what's in the heart. It's not, it's all the years until now that you were together and growing up together. That's what matters. So we dedicate today to her too and your family. Anything more before we move on? Sakashi, you're surprisingly quiet today. Okay. Well, in Buddhism, in Buddhism, we dance in the sad times and the happy times too, because we believe that the life is this dance. So we're going to dance now, our traditional dance. But Sakashi, do I have a choice? Can we go with the vegetarian today? Yeah. Now the reason is here because I put up, it's that time of year to give big gratitude, and I tell you, Buddhist gratitude. It's the same way we dance. Buddhist gratitude, we're grateful for the bitter stuff and the joyous stuff. We don't just say, I'm grateful for the stuff I want. When the stuff comes to you that makes you sad or breaks your heart, even when your loved one is sick, your friend has died, we say, oh, I'm so sad, I'm brokenhearted, but I'm just somehow basically under it all, grateful for all of it. It's strange, okay? So we feel grateful for that. But in a Buddhist group, I said, we eat meat, but when you go to the actual temple, when you're in the temple, they always serve vegetarian, okay? It's kind of in the Japanese temple, it's like the monks can eat meat, but in the temple, there's no meat. So I thought today, well, okay, we'll go, because we have a choice here, we're going vegetarian for our dance today, okay? And we're going to free the turkey, liberate the turkey. The turkey can be free today. Not the actual turkey, but today during our Zen group, we will do that. So we're going to have a very short Zazen now. Would you hand me that bell? Right there. Right there. Yeah.
Should we close the sutra too?
Oh, yes, we need the sutra to close the please.
May the merits of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together may realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Mahaprajna, Paramita.
Okay, I always say that sometimes we sit Zazen long, sometimes we sit Zazen short. Remember that no matter when you're sitting, you should sit every day, but it's never a matter of measuring long or short. Now we will have a short Zazen. You can sit where you are. You doing okay?
Yeah, I have fibromyalgia, so it's yeah.
Zazen. Thank you. We will now dance the ancient ritual of the gratitude vegetarian hokey pokey. Would you take this? Okay. Yeah. This is Bukyo no Bento Teki no Odoi.
I'm ready.
You put your red fruit in, you take your red fruit out. You put your red fruit in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your purple fruit in, you take your purple fruit out. You put your purple fruit in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your green fruit in, you take your green fruit out. You put your green fruit in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your yellow fruit in, you take your yellow fruit out. You put your yellow fruit in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your orange fruit in, you take your orange fruit out. You put your orange fruit in and pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your brown fruit in, you take your brown fruit out. You put your brown fruit in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your red veggie in, you take your red veggie out. You put your red veggie in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your green veggie in, you take your green veggie out. You put your green veggie in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your yellow veggie in, you take your yellow veggie out. You put your yellow veggie in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your orange veggie in, you take your orange veggie out. You put your orange veggie in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your brown veggie in, you take your brown veggie out. You put your brown veggie in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Excellent, excellent. The other one is very much the same, except it's about the turkey. All right. Oh, okay. Zazen. We'll have a long Q&A. Okay. Soto de mo, naka de mo. You can walk outside too, inside. Tea, go outside.
Yeah, we need sunlight.
ごめんごめん、日本語のないんですね。覚えている人の平和と、病気の時、病気に、でも平和して、それに今目標します。はい。気持ちですね。We wish people in our family and friends peace, not to get angry, to be healthy, but also difficulty. So, okay. Doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay. We will now recite the metaverses. You can sit down, relax, or stand, or have some tea. You can. Okay. Okay. Well, we were talking about the metaverses before, and I said they had real power when our heart sincerely means what we say. One second. So when I say something to you angry, that has real power. It affects my family, affects my friends, even affects my town, strangers, if I'm always this angry guy. And also now we're all connected. What I say angry might affect people in Turkey and people in Spain and people in Virginia, because, and all over the world, because we're all connected here. So when we wish good things too, it has real power. Now, does it help that particular person we're thinking about? Well, it helps everyone at least, and maybe it gets to that person. I told you I was thinking of my mentor, and I wished him well, and made him smile. So it had some real effect on him, like that. Okay. When we recite the metaverses, we begin with ourselves. Nothing wrong with wishing ourselves to have peace, and then we think about someone we love. Recently, I started making it kind of plural. Hi, Heito. Good to see you. And you can chant for groups of people. There's no limit. After someone we love, we chant for a friend. Then a stranger, maybe someone we just passed in the street, we barely even noticed. And then we pass for the difficult, then we chant for the difficult person. Someone maybe is hard to forgive, or someone who's really doing bad things. Because the idea is, I always say this every time, every month, month after month, I have to say this. we chant for the difficult person with the idea that if they were healthy, if they were at peace, they would not do the bad thing. So that's why we can take someone and say, oh, this person's doing such terrible things, my life, other people, but I wish him peace and healthy. Because if he was peaceful and healthy, he would not do that. And then we chant for all sentient beings, which I always remind everybody is not limited to this planet. So please include the space aliens. We really want them peaceful when they get here. Okay, are we ready? First ourselves. May I be free of suffering. May I feel safe and still. Really feel this, really feel it visually. You really mean this. May I be free of enmity. Enmity means angry. May I be not angry. May I be loving, gentle, and kind. May I be healthy. And because that's not always the case, may I be at ease in all my ills. May I be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. 人生の何でもいいと思います。Okay, now for 親戚とか愛されている方ね。For someone we love, family member. Okay. May she be free of suffering. May she feel safe and still. May she be free of enmity. May she be loving, grateful, and kind. May she be healthy and at ease in all her ills. May she be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, and now for a friend. May she be free of suffering. May she feel safe and still. May she be free of enmity. May she be loving, grateful, and kind. May she be healthy and at ease in all her ills. May she be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, now for a stranger. People we barely notice. The clerk in the store, the bus driver, like that. Person on the bus. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, gentle, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, next is a difficult one. The person who is difficult does ugly things, did ugly things, maybe long ago to us, to the world, right? With the idea that if people like that, if not that person, maybe it's too late for that person. Maybe they're no longer with us, but if people like that person were healthy and happy and peaceful, then they would not do that. So let's see. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. I got to underline that one in this case. May he be really free of enmity. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, now for all sentient beings everywhere, I'm writing a book about Buddhism of the future. So I'm going to include future AI, which will someday be sentient, and we definitely want it to be peaceful. To the future AI. May we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of enmity. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy and at ease in all our ills. And let me add, for whatever AI feel, may their programs work smoothly. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, now we have time for just a little more. I don't know, what should we do? Did anyone bring any cards? No? Okay, then let's sit zazen. A little more zazen. 5分ぐらいの座禅。今のところでも、座布の上でも、どこでも座禅。Okay? Okay. All right. 座禅。You can just sit or be on the zafu as you wish. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the four vows.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Hey, Cynthia, you've been hidden over here. Go give a wave to everybody. They can't see you. Just give a wave.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. So remember this week, whenever you got that whole long list, long list, all those Buddhist virtues, whenever you do any of that and you bring it to life, that's your practice place, right? In the middle of life, and your Dharma pleasure. Okay, so I wish you much Dharma pleasure and many practice places. Dokugan, you're still going at 6 o'clock in the morning, I guess. Wonderful, great to be young. Okay, guys, we'll see you later. See you all. Bye-bye. Hey, see you, Heito. Good to see you. Peace to your family, James. Okay, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou. You doing okay?
Yeah, it's just